coilovers here where you can see them, we want to talk about height adjustment and preload. I'm not going to explain what preload is. If you look at my Coilover 101 video, if you want to see what preload is, and I'm going to show you how to adjust it. The wrenches, these are actually really cool wrenches. They can lock in. I can literally pick this up with one. This is your height. So what you would do is put your wrench in here, lock it in, and turn it this direction so that it unlocks. Slide it up. You will then take this, and I would do mine, except for right now it's really tight, so I need it on the car so I can break it loose. Once this is up, you can then turn this up or down. Please pay attention to safety. Read their little manual. As they say in here on page 5, minimum of 25 mil needs to be in here. This little hole, which is just, yeah, they got 3 of them, is if you can see it through here, you should be fine. Should be. Again, just a disclaimer, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing this for entertainment purposes only, mostly my own entertainment, because, well, they're not that entertaining. But I'm not responsible if you screw yours up. Even if you did exactly what I did and it blew up. It's not my fault. So, that's how you adjust your ride height. You will want to make sure that they are the same length, and I already made sure mine are the exact same length before I even start to put them in the car. And the ride height you probably won't adjust until you've let the coilover sit at least overnight to settle. Some people say they don't. I'm telling you they do. They will settle a little. So you'll want to go and drive it a little bit, let it sit overnight at least, then you can start adjusting things. They may still settle even more after that, but that's how you would do it. Preload is here. Those are what adjust preload. Now be aware, adding preload is going to make the shock raise your car more. Again, you can look at my video, Coilover 101, if you want more explanation on that. To set your preload, now, I've already broke mine loose because I wanted to see what the preload was. You're going to slide that one in here, slide this one in here, and I suggest pulling towards each other in that way you're not putting side pressure on the coilover. Go like so. That's going to free that up. Now, of course, it's going to be setting up like this. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. So you're going to back this down a little. That's going to give you access to this. And you're going to turn this to loosen it up. And when all of the preload is gone, oh, it's already there. You can see the spring is no longer loaded at all. So what we're going to do, tighten that back up. When you get to the point that the spring is not moving up and down, okay, about right there, you're going to measure. So I highly suggest a caliper, pretty cheap on Amazon. You're going to measure from here to here. This one's 56.76, so 56.7 we'll call it. So I'll make a note of 56.7. I want to add 4 mil preload. So adding 4 mil, 60.7. So I'm going to turn this in. Until it measures 60.7. And you can use the wrench if you need to. These aren't that stiff at this level. Of course, yeah, this won't turn if it's on the car. 60.5, we're real close. 60.4. You take this, and I'll show you how you just hook it. If it's not putting a lot of pressure, you can just hook it and turn. And again, this won't turn. This won't move when it's on the car. This is a little more challenging than it would be. Anyway, you get it to 60.7. We're real close. And you bring your lock nut up. Pushed together. And like I said, it won't turn when it's mounted. So get that good and tight. Don't over tighten it. So you do all this when they're in the vehicle. The rear coilovers are exactly the same, just a little different because they fit in the rear instead of the front. They only have 2 bolts on the top holding them. Oh, on the dampener settings, mine came at, front ones were at 10. The rear one was at 11. I am going to set mine, I'm thinking 15 front and 20 rear. Just FYI. So that you, in case you don't know, and again, it's in my other video, and they got an arrow, clockwise hard, counterclockwise softens it. Always turn it from hard, all the way hard, then back it out because it's a needle seat. So just check the rears, a 4 mil preload. 4 mil preload on the rears as well. Now, just snugging these up. Got to do this when you get them installed on the car. So there you go. So from what I have read, the front shocks, if you have them set at 19.875 inches, that corresponds to roughly a 13.375 front height. It's measuring from the center cap to the top of the bottom of the fender, the top of the fender inside there, the wheel well. And for the rear, a 20-inch shock measures 13.5. The front ones did in fact come right about 19.875. The rear ones were shorter. The rear ones are just over 19 and a quarter. And by the way, that's measuring from the top to the middle of the hole, mounting hole on the bottom. So I will be lengthening my rear ones because they came short. So they came, this looks like, my guess, It'll be about 12, a little more than 12.5 inches on the rear and about 13.5 on the front. So the back will definitely be sagging, especially since mine's an RF. So if you got the extensions for the rear shocks, there's a little Allen screw right here. It's a set screw, so you're going to want to back it out. Put it on top of the adjustment knob, and then you just tighten the set screw. Don't have to over tighten it. There you go. Now this can stick out through your panels in your trunk. And it has the soft, hard, the directions and everything on them. I suggest others have as well, that you put those on before you install them. It's a lot easier when you have access.